Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Media, and welcome to episode 3 of the 944 Files. Here you join me under the car where we are pulling the starter. Apologies, the jack stand's kind of in the way, but you know I'm here. There we go. Just like that, we are loose on the ground cable. And now we can pull the starter out, which I've done this so many times, being down here so much for so many things, that it should be fairly easy. And this process takes forever because it's not a ratcheting wrench either. I'll have to sandblast this bell housing too. It's also kind of gross. And we are out. I should also mention that I was wrong. The motor for the NA cars does come out the top, but the turbo motors come out the bottom. Oh, there goes the fuel. I probably should have put something down to catch that. A little bit of gas on the floor now, but I'm not too scared about it. So the fuel rail is disconnected and off to the side here. I've already broke something. I don't know what this thing is, but you can see I broke it. And the clips on the fuel injector plugs have these little metal clips in there. These all look really original to me. Really OEM right here. All right, so I've got a paint marker, and I'm gonna go back here and mark the speed and reference sensor so I know which ones are which. All right, so we're gonna do 2 marks for the top one. I think that's fair. Okay, that's unplugged. Let's get that out of the way. I'll do 1 mark for the bottom one. That way we know which goes where. And even in the event that it didn't matter which ones went where, I still don't like plugging things in to places they weren't plugged before. All right, so now I'm gonna get down here and remove the radiator fan, which is just 6 bolts, and I don't need to bring you guys along for that. So let me pop that out real quick. To show you how bad the oil leaks are, you can see everything down here is covered in oil. I gotta run to town shortly, so I'm gonna take a break on this for a little bit, but really quickly, I'm gonna take this and sandblast it because it looks awful. So too, I was kind of getting carried away, and I said something about draining the radiator, which is we're gonna do today. But first, I'm gonna take the slave cylinder out and get my eye on the pressure plate bolts, so I kind of get an idea what they look like. So I can get out here and crank it and get back under, take them out, and get back up here and crank it again and take them out again. This stupid thing out. I'm gonna buy a new one because you can buy these brand new. This one is old and brittle. It feels and looks like a solo cup. Anyways, let's get the slave cylinder off of there. The slave cylinder disconnected, so I'm gonna go over here on the other side of the car and unplug the O2 sensor, which is that thing right there. And then there is let's remove this. I was using this to clean some plugs off. There's this assortment of plugs here, which I've started to mark, as you can see. One of them runs down here somewhere behind the water pump, and I don't know where it goes yet. So I gotta figure out where it plugs in, unplug it, and drag it up here, and then it should slide out from behind the intake manifold. And that should be either most or half of the plugs. So here's one of the pressure plate bolts. There's 9 of them in total. They're these 6mm Allens. And I gotta take one out, get back up there, turn the motor over just a little bit, take the next one out, and so on. And I gotta guess each time that I've turned the motor the right amount. But I'm not gonna make you guys sit here and watch me. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these out, and then I'll get back with you when I'm done. I got all 9 of the pressure plate bolts out. So now I'm gonna work on getting, so you can see it from here. I'm gonna work on getting the bell housing bolts out. Oh, and I gotta get the speed and reference sensors, which are right there, out, which are not gonna be fun. So after some further consideration, I'm going to remove the intake manifold just to make it a whole lot easier to get these plugs out, because these right here are stuck under it and wedged in there somewhere. The intake manifold seems really easy to take off. I watched the video, so I'm gonna pop that off and we'll see. Sisters out way. Oh yeah. Oh, we got a bunch of stuff under here connected. That came out really easy though. What were you connected to? Genuinely, where was this connected? I don't know how that was connected. I guess I'll find out. Oh, that came off there. Okay, that makes sense right there. Okay. So now I just disconnect that. And I guess we're good to go. Yeah, here we go. Check that out. All right, so you join me seated currently on top of my coolant reservoir. Current progress. I have the speed and reference sensors removed out of the car. I have these little ground cables back here disconnected. There's a heater core hose on this side, and then there's one that goes right here that I have disconnected. The alternator cable is disconnected and out over here, and I have the negative and positive battery terminals disconnected and tucked up over here. All right, so I got the front end of the car up in the air. I'm gonna get down here and pull the 4 bell housing bolts out. I might have to get 2 of them from the top, but we'll see. And then come over here. I gotta get down there and get, I don't know if you can see it on camera. There's 6 exhaust bolts where the exhaust manifold right here bolts to the exhaust system. I gotta get those. They're 39 years old, so we'll see how easy they come off. And then right down here below the alternator, there's an AC line somewhere I gotta disconnect. And then we should be good to hook the hoist up and put it on the stand. Oh yeah. I don't know how long these bolts are, so I don't know how long this is gonna take me. All I know is that this 1/2-inch breaker bar and a short socket barely fit in here. But it's better than trying to do it with a 3/8 ratchet. I'm gonna spin this with my fingernails. That's a good sign. A ratcheting breaker bar would be very nice right about now. So upon further evaluation, I decided I'm gonna drop the exhaust from here to the exhaust manifold so that I can access the 2 bolts up here that I can't really get to from the top or the bottom with the exhaust in the way. So it'd be much easier to be able to reach it with the breaker bar if we drop the exhaust. So that's what we're gonna do. Go here. I probably should have sprayed this with PB Blaster in advance, but you know, here's what it is. I'm fully aware that it's spinning the nut on the other side. At least I'm pretty sure. I need to get it loose enough to where I can spin it with ease. And the more I just sit here and spin it, the more it breaks it loose. Let's see if the ratchet fit on the other side, because it won't really fit on this side just because of the hanger. Oh yeah. And there's rust all over my camera. So close. So I don't remember where we last left off, but I have 2 bolts left on the bell housing. Once those are off, I can unbolt the motor mounts and hook the hoist up to the motor, and hopefully it should come right out. I got the exhaust off, so this part was actually really easy. There's 2 19mm bolts on the back of the motor where it connects to the bell housing, and I don't have a tool that'll fit on them properly, except for this 60-something-year-old breaker bar that might just be the right size, and we're gonna give it a shot. All right, the bell housing bolts are out. They were the biggest pain in the ass. I got the motor mount unbolted on this side. I just gotta unbolt this one, and then we can hook the hoist up, and it should come straight out, but we'll see. Well, it's out of the car. That's one thing. Now I gotta figure out how to get it on that stand. So I got the front of the car pushed out in the driveway. I've got all this stuff coated with some degreaser. I might throw a little bit of PB Blaster into the mix. We're gonna let it sit for a few minutes and then spray the pressure washer. All right, I just put a second coat of degreaser in there, so I'm gonna hit it one more time. And here is an after. It still doesn't look fantastic, but it does look a whole lot better. So let's get this thing pushed back in the garage and then clean the driveway up now. So I got all the oil drained out of the motor. I got it back in the garage. It was a pain to get it over this lip right here, but it's back in the garage. I'm gonna pop this timing belt cover off right here and show you guys how bad the oil leaks really are. So it's kind of hard to pick it up on camera, but you can kind of see some oil here and there. There's some oil on the bottom of that. This tensioner is covered in oil. And when I did the timing belts in the water pump back in October, November, I did do the front main seal, but I didn't do the balance shaft. So I think the balance shafts are what's leaking. I think that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I know it wasn't as exciting or well put together as the last one, although this was more just a lot of labor. So I kind of focus more on that part versus filming. So the next video I'm gonna be working on starting to remove some of the stuff in here so that I can sand and scuff and prep and paint the engine bay or the visible areas of it. So when the car gets painted, this isn't still blue. And I'm also gonna go ahead and order everything I need for this motor so that we can immediately tear it down and do everything and slap it back together. Patiently, of course. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna go take a shower because if you can't tell by my hair, I have oil all over me and I'm greasy and disgusting. I'll catch you in the next video.